Hello, I'm Dr. William Hart. I've spent more than 3 decades working with people over 60, and today I want to share something with you, not as a doctor, but as a friend. A friend who has listened to hundreds of patient stories, who has seen thousands of steps slow down because of one reason that often seems so small. Let me ask you to imagine this. It's Monday morning. You wake up, your knees ache more than usual, your fingers are stiff like wooden sticks, and it's hard to hold your usual cup of coffee. You tell yourself it's just the weather or maybe age, but then the next day, the pain is still there. And the week after that, nothing has changed. Have you ever felt like that? One of my patients, Ruth, 67, said to me during a visit, "Doctor, I eat healthy. No fried food, no fast food, not even fatty meals. So why do my joints still hurt?" I asked her, "What do you usually eat for breakfast?" She answered, "Oh, whole wheat toast, coffee with a little diet sugar, and sometimes a bowl of cereal." Sounds healthy, doesn't it? But here's what most people don't realize. Many foods we think are good for us actually contain what we call hidden sugars. They don't taste sweet, but they're there, in white bread, packaged cereals, even in that low-fat ketchup you drizzle over your salad. Hidden sugars and refined grains have one thing in common. They're digested very quickly, causing sudden spikes in blood sugar. And that very spike is what triggers inflammation inside your body. Your joints, already delicate with age, suffer silently every time they're hit with a flood of sugar. It's like the paint on an old boat being eroded by salt water. Slowly, layer by layer, the damage builds. I once read a Harvard study showing that every time your blood sugar spikes, your body releases inflammatory molecules called cytokines, and these cytokines attack joint tissue, leading to swelling, pain, and eventually degeneration. But here's the beautiful part. When I advised Ruth to cut out white bread, switch to whole oats, sprinkle chia seeds into her breakfast, and replace artificial sweeteners with a slice of fresh fruit, after just 3 weeks she called me, voice trembling. "I can hold my granddaughter's hand without pain. I can open a jar of jam all by myself." You see, not every change requires medication. Sometimes simply swapping out white bread for a bowl of oats is enough to begin your healing journey. So, what are you eating every day? Is it a source of nourishment or a silent source of inflammation that you're not even aware of? The answer isn't in your medicine cabinet. It's on your plate. I know you can't change everything overnight, but if you start by reading labels carefully, avoiding white bread, skipping diet sodas, and choosing whole, unprocessed grains, your body will thank you in ways words cannot express. Remember, you don't have to live in pain just because you're getting older. You can live stronger, move more freely, and enjoy each day more deeply with just a few small adjustments. And if you found this message helpful, share it with someone you care about, because maybe their joints are longing for relief just like yours. Together, let's live more gently, more mindfully, and more healthfully. Beautiful, isn't it? A ripe red tomato, shiny, fragrant, fresh. It looks incredibly healthy, and for many people, it is. But not everyone realizes that this juicy red fruit can actually be a hidden enemy, quietly flaring up joint pain, especially after age 60. I remember a patient, Mr. Charles, 72, a retired gentleman who lives alone with a small backyard garden. He grows it all: tomatoes, bell peppers, white potatoes, eggplants. Every morning he picks them and cooks a beautifully organic meal. But he came to see me complaining of something strange. His fingers and knees were red, swollen, and achy, especially in the early morning. No signs of gout, no rheumatoid arthritis. All labs were normal. We talked at length, and what stood out to me was that he ate tomatoes almost every single day. I asked him, "Did you know tomatoes, peppers, and potatoes all belong to a plant family called nightshades?" He looked puzzled. "Night? What? I just thought they were healthy vegetables." Nightshades, they include tomatoes, bell peppers, eggplants, and white potatoes. They contain a compound called solanine in low amounts. But for some people, especially those with chronic low-grade inflammation or degenerative joint issues, solanine acts like fuel to a smoldering fire. It doesn't cause an allergic reaction. It's subtle, gradual. Each day, a little more. You might wake up with stiffer fingers, knees that crack going downstairs, wrists that can no longer twist open a jar. You think it's aging, but maybe it's that nightly tomato salad. I asked Mr. Charles to cut out all nightshades for 2 weeks. No tomatoes, no bell peppers, no potatoes, no eggplant. The result? On day 10, he emailed me, "Doctor, I think my knees are coming back to life. I don't need my cane to go upstairs anymore. And strangely, I'm sleeping better." You might be like Mr. Charles. Now, I'm not saying everyone should eliminate nightshades, but if you're suffering from persistent joint pain without a clear cause, try cutting them for 14 days. Observe, listen to your body, because it will give you the clearest answer. And if you truly love tomatoes or potatoes, don't worry. Sometimes just cooking them thoroughly and combining them with anti-inflammatory foods like turmeric, leafy greens, or olive oil can make a big difference. We don't need to be extreme, we just need to be informed. Remember, what seems healthy isn't always right for everybody, especially after 60. Health doesn't come from eating more vegetables, but from eating the right ones for you. Every morning I start my day with a warm cup of turmeric milk, with just a pinch of black pepper, exactly the way my mother taught me back when I was a boy in Georgia. Back then, I never understood why she was so particular about every ingredient. But now, at 60, after treating hundreds of chronic arthritis cases, I do. This isn't just a drink, it's medicine. You may have heard of curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, famous for its anti-inflammatory power. But here's what few people know. Without black pepper, curcumin is barely absorbed by your body. It passes right through, unnoticed. Black pepper, rich in piperine, is the key that unlocks the absorption, allowing curcumin to reach inflamed tissues, especially in your joints. I once had a patient, Linda, 65, who worked part-time as a gardener. She came to me because her wrists hurt so badly she couldn't lift a watering can. We adjusted her diet, added omega-3s, some progress, but not enough. I asked her, "Have you tried turmeric?" She smiled. "I did once, but it didn't do anything." I asked her again, "Did you take it with black pepper?" "No," she replied. "I just took turmeric capsules from the pharmacy." So I suggested a simple approach. Each evening, drink a warm cup of milk with half a teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, and a few drops of extra virgin olive oil. She agreed, though a bit skeptical. 3 weeks later, she called me, her voice trembling with joy. "Doctor, I just replanted my cucumber rows in the backyard. I dug the soil, tied the vines, and I didn't feel any pain." Isn't that remarkable? No expensive drugs, no steroid injections, just one small habit done patiently and done right. Recent medical studies from both Mayo Clinic and Johns Hopkins University have shown that curcumin can be as effective as non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, in reducing joint pain and swelling, but without harming the stomach, liver, or kidneys. The key is this: you must take it consistently and combine it correctly. A tiny bit of black pepper each day, that may be the difference between a restful night and one filled with tossing and turning from joint pain. Remember, you don't have to endure pain just because you're growing older. You can nourish your joints with natural, safe remedies, many of which already live in your kitchen cupboard. And if you don't feel the difference today, don't give up. Be patient for 21 days. Joints take time to heal, just as plants need warm sunshine to grow again. You can start tonight with a little turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, and a bit of patience. And when you feel your body moving easier, lighter, you'll know you've taken the right path. I always encourage my patients to eat vegetables, especially leafy greens. But today, I want to share a small truth, one that could make a big difference in your joint health. Like many, I once believed that the more raw vegetables you eat, the better. Until one patient, Mrs. Elizabeth, made me reconsider. She was 69, active, loved cooking, and practiced yoga. But for over 6 months, she suffered from strange symptoms: persistent bloating, irregular digestion, and most importantly, her joints began to ache noticeably, even though she claimed to eat very healthy. I asked about her diet. She said, "I eat 2 large salads a day, full of fresh kale, raw cauliflower, some walnuts, and olive oil." It sounded perfect on paper, but I explained this to her. Cruciferous vegetables like kale, cabbage, and cauliflower, when eaten raw, can sometimes suppress thyroid function in certain individuals. And beyond that, their rough fiber is hard to digest. especially for aging digestive systems. When digestion weakens, the body struggles to absorb vital nutrients like magnesium, calcium, and vitamin K, all essential for healthy joints and bones. Your belly feels bloated, while your joints silently weaken. I suggested one small change to Mrs. Elizabeth. Instead of eating 100% raw salads, try lightly steaming your greens for just 3 to 4 minutes, or do a quick sauté with a touch of olive oil. She agreed to try for 2 weeks. The result? She smiled brightly at her next visit. My stomach feels so much lighter, no more bloating, and the biggest surprise? My left knee doesn't hurt anymore when I climb stairs. You see, even good things can cause harm if used the wrong way. Science has shown that gently cooking cruciferous vegetables actually releases more antioxidants, such as sulforaphane, a powerful anti-inflammatory compound. Light cooking also deactivates the enzyme that suppresses thyroid function and makes nutrients easier to absorb. I don't suggest removing salads completely, but I urge you to consider your age, your body type, and your digestive capacity. Your body isn't the same as it was 20 years ago, and your eating habits should evolve with time. Here's what I advise older adults. Eat vegetables daily, but make sure at least 70% are lightly cooked. Prioritize steaming, boiling, or quick stir-frying, and avoid deep frying or eating them entirely raw. Don't forget to include healthy fats like olive oil or flaxseed oil. They help you absorb vitamin K effectively. You don't have to give up the foods you love. You just need to change how you prepare them. A little bit of heat might be exactly what your joints need right now. And if you found this helpful, please share it with your friends. Someone out there might be living with joint pain and never suspect that their daily salad could be the hidden cause. We don't eat to impress like the young do. We eat to live well, to live joyfully, and to live strong, in the way of someone who's lived, who's seen life. I used to think joint pain came only from what you eat, or what you do. But after years of listening to patients, I realized some kinds of pain don't come from bones or cartilage. They come from something harder to name. Once a patient, Mr. Harold, 75, came to my clinic with swollen, burning joints in his hands, even though all his lab tests were perfectly normal. I asked about his diet, his activity, his sleep. Everything seemed in order. Then I gently asked, "Is there something that's been weighing on your heart?" He fell silent. His eyes looked far off. Then he said softly, "Doctor, my wife passed away last year, after 48 years together. Now the house, it's very quiet and very cold." We didn't speak for 2 full minutes after that, because sometimes silence is part of healing too. Did you know that emotions and physical health are far more connected than we often believe? When you feel sadness, loneliness, prolonged anxiety, your body produces more cortisol, the stress hormone. And when cortisol stays high for too long, it triggers inflammation all over the body, especially in sensitive tissues like the joints. It's no coincidence that many older adults have told me, "My joints hurt more when I'm feeling down." It's not just a feeling, it's real. A study from Stanford University showed seniors living in social isolation had 35% higher levels of joint inflammation compared to those with positive social connections. Not just because they felt lonely, but because stress hormones were silently eroding their health day by day. I used to prescribe anti-inflammatory medicine, but now I often write a second prescription. One phone call per day to a loved one. One coffee outing per week with an old friend. 10 minutes of quiet morning meditation, and if possible, a small dog for companionship. You might find it strange, but for many people, those things work better than ibuprofen. I know it's not easy to change when you've grown used to living alone, but if you just open your heart, even a little, you may find your joints begin to soften too. Because joints, like the heart, need more than just nutrients. They need connection. You don't have to suffer in silence. Call that old friend. Take a walk with someone. Sing that song from your youth again, not to fight aging, but to walk with it through better and brighter days. I don't only treat disease with medicine. I believe in the healing power of human connection, of smiles, of deep sleep, and quiet afternoons spent with someone by your side. And if today you feel tired, begin with one small thing. Forgive yourself, then open your heart to the world again. Your joints are also waiting to heal from the inside out. Corn, or maize, is part of the childhood memory of many Americans. We grew up with it. Summer backyard barbecues with grilled corn, warm bowls of corn chowder in winter. But today I ask you to look at it differently. Not with nostalgia, but with understanding. Because not everything familiar is always good for your health. I recall one patient, Mr. David, 68, a retired engineer. Still energetic, he loved gardening, but he came to see me with swollen fingers, especially painful in the mornings. He said, "Doctor, I haven't been eating anything strange. Just corn soup or cornbread in the evenings." I smiled gently. "Did you notice, sir," I asked, "that the corn we eat today is not the same as the corn you grew up with 40 years ago?" He shook his head. "The truth is, most corn in the U.S. today is genetically modified GMO. It contains high levels of omega-6 fatty acids, which, when not balanced with omega-3s, contribute to chronic silent inflammation. Worse, corn, whether fresh, ground, or as high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, has a high glycemic index, meaning it spikes blood sugar quickly. When blood sugar remains elevated day after day, your body reacts as if under constant attack. It releases inflammatory molecules like cytokines, the very ones that break down aging joints. I advise Mr. David, a retired engineer with painful swollen fingers, to eliminate all corn-based foods for 3 weeks, including cornbread, corn soup, snacks, and sodas with HFCS. Instead, he switched to slow-digesting, fiber-rich carbs, whole oats, roasted sweet potatoes, quinoa, and millet. The result? After 18 days, he told me, "Doctor, I can tie my shoelaces without pain. My fingers aren't swollen. I even tightened a screw at home without needing my wife's help." That's the power of small changes in the right direction. If you eat corn often, try this. Eliminate corn and corn-derived products for 21 days. Read food labels carefully. HFCS hides in many healthy foods. Add colorful vegetables, healthy fats, like avocado and olive oil, and whole grains. Boost omega-3s with salmon, flax seeds, and chia seeds. You don't have to give up corn forever, but listen to your body. If your joints hurt more after certain meals, take note. Age doesn't steal your health. Poor habits do. The good news? You can start healing tonight. Let go of what's hurting you, even if it comes in the friendly shape of golden corn.